Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jay. That's Maddie. This is Yankee and the Brit. And Maddie, we're already week 16.
Yeah, week 16 up and coming. Week 15 having just been not a good week for my Dallas Cowboys. So if you guys want to be here to watch us,
that was a great fucking week.
If you guys want to be here to do an autopsy on the Dallas Cowboys, stay tuned. Jay will obviously be very excited because it was the Vikings that eliminated the cocky Cowboys from contention.
I also just realized I got to redo that subscribe because that guy don't outplay Cowboys no more. But I'm sure we'll be talking about him and his ligaments at some point in the show.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but hit that subscribe button, guys. I'll take off the screen to remove any essence of Micah in a Cowboys.
So you're removing him like he just removed himself from the NFL for the rest of the year.
He's gone. Yeah, he is gone from the NFL
and that is not making fun of him getting injured. That fucking sucks. Yeah. That might have sounded bad. That was not what I was doing.
Yeah. Obviously, that's obviously a shit for Micah, but we will be talking about that as well. But guys, we will be reacting to Week 15, giving our reactions to the Cowboys bowing out, the Chiefs bowing out as well. We'll be talking about them at some point. We'll be talking about the Broncos moving forward and how far they can go, and we'll be talking about the Green Bay Packers without Micah Parsons as well. So stay tuned for all of that to come. We'll also then be giving our Week 15 awards out where we choose our rookie MVP and our just MVP of Week 15. There were some great performances this week, so stay tuned for that. I'll then be asking Jay a question that I want to ask all GMs in the league, what they would do, in our resident GM of our podcast station. Jay will be answering my questions in GMJ before we move to Week 15 overreactions, our big overreactions, which obviously, Jay, my overreaction to Week 14 was the Dallas Cowboys were still making the playoffs, so that's pretty horrific. But stay tuned for me to make a fool of myself once again, I imagine, in the overreactions. Before, Jay, we move on to tonight's game, Thursday Night Football, huge NFC clash where the Seattle Seahawks go up against the Rams, and then we'll be looking ahead to Saturday football as well. So stay tuned before finishing off with our Week 16 best bets. Jay, that is so much to cover in one show. This is why people should follow us and why we're getting about 150 views a week now on our short form content. So come and follow us, guys, because we do so much in our shows.
And the NFL finally likes us this week.
Yeah, the NFL actually gave us some decent games this week, which is good to go as well. So follow us for more. But Jay, let's head to the Dallas Cowboys up against the Minnesota Vikings. And Jay, I just want to offer congratulations because that was a top game and a top tier performance from the Minnesota Vikings' new quarterback, JJ McCarthy. I thought he really showed out in this game. I kind of went MIA on Sunday because Sunderland beat Newcastle. And then I eventually responded to all the stuff in the chat. And my big response was, JJ McCarthy is it. JJ McCarthy has got it. And that's what I thought. What did you think of him in this game and just your general Vikings performance in general?
I really appreciated what he did this week. I liked the growth. I thought it was a great game for JJ. I think this is what people have been waiting for. But, it kind of makes sense because JJ said that up until a week prior, it felt like he was playing in a wash machine. And then it felt like in the game the week prior, the door opened and everything just slowed down. Weird analogy, but I got what he was getting at. So it made sense that he's starting to feel more comfortable. I think he's starting to feel more ownership over the offense. I don't know what's wrong with him and Justin Jefferson. If they ever get it together, teams are in fucking trouble. How Justin Jefferson let that fucking ball go right through his hands did not help JJ at all. And I didn't watch his interview, but I'm sure Justin owned that because that's the type of player he is. But, that goes right through his fucking hands. And I know it was a rocket, but you got to catch that.
Yeah, I think with JJ McCarthy, it's what we've kind of been saying for him since he came in So he basically redshirted his first year. He's playing his first season this season. And you could see it against the Patriots in that first game. His JJ McCarthy's big playability is there. His big game ability is there. He has that in him, which is what you want to see from all first round. The other stuff, you can slow down the game. You can fix the other stuff. That big game ability is something that JJ McCarthy has. And you could see it on play after play after play, especially in that fourth quarter. The touchdown that he throws to Jalen Naylor when he rolls out to the left, throws across his body in the ugliest fucking throw I've ever seen. That goes for a touchdown. It is an ugly, ugly throw, but Jalen Naylor is completely covered, and somehow JJ McCarthy puts it in the only spot that Jalen Naylor can catch it and it not get put away, and it goes for a touchdown while he's rolling to the left and has to throw across his body. He's been chased down by Overshown. That is JJ McCarthy. That is what he has got in the locker, and the other stuff will just slow down for him. And it's exactly what the Vikings need. You've got this amazing array of offensive talent, this wide receiver core that is unbelievable. You need someone to throw the ball down the field and just get them to it. And it looked like he'd grown in confidence and he found that back, which is particularly impressive after the mad interception that he got in the first drive of the game.
Yeah, that one didn't even bother me. I did go, oh, fuck, here we go again. But it didn't even bother me. The cool stat I saw was he is the only player in NFL history to throw for 2 touchdowns and run for a touchdown in 3 of his first 8 games.
Yeah, it's just all of that, the kind of semi-gritty that he did across the line when he was rolling out after keeping the ball.
Yeah, it was an awful gritty, but go have fun, kid. I'm okay with that.
The guy's a fucking dog, that big playability. And it's we've been saying this all year. We've look, he's going to have shit games. This is his first season, especially when he's going up against great defenses and he has no offensive line. He's going to have those games. But in the big spots where the Vikings have been close, he's pulled them through. That game against the Patriots at the start of the season and the game against the Cowboys now. I thought the other thing that was really impressive was the offensive line played particularly well for the Vikings. They managed to keep JJ clean against a good Cowboys defensive line as well.
Without Christian Darrisaw.
Yeah, without Christian Darrisaw. That interior of the O-line was particularly impressive. So, yeah.
In the last 2 games, J.J. McCarthy is 31 for 47, which is 66%, 413 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 1 interception.
Yeah.
And he batted it's still an interception, but the fact that he batted it into his chest, I was like, he did the same thing the coach will tell you to do every time. It just didn't work the way he wanted it to.
Yeah. And I think it's a great play from, we'll talk about Donovan Wilson in a second when we're doing the kind of what went wrong with the Cowboys this season. But that blitz from the outside, difficult to pick up, and he ends up trying to throw it around him. Wilson makes a great play. It pops up in the air, and Quinton Williams ends up coming down with it with JJ McCarthy trying to bat it into the floor. That's just bad luck. But the fact he has that rank interception after everything that he's had throughout the season so far, and he's able to just make big play after big play and gritty into the end zone and all of that kind of thing. He has the mentality that you're looking for with a big play starting quarterback. And I think he has the skills. He could clean up his mechanics in certain places. The game really needs to slow down for him even a little bit more than you can already tell it's slowed down already, but it could do with slowing down even a little bit more. And do you know what? A game slows down for you a lot if the interior of your offensive line is actually healthy and able to stand up and actually go against players. So I think the Vikings have got a guy.
If this was last year, 8 games into the season, minus the injuries, people would be like, oh, this kid's getting it. But because of the rocky road he has, he's getting dragged even more.
Yeah, it's he's woke up and stuff like that. And it's okay. So, yeah, great game from JJ McCarthy. And Jay, I thought the Cowboys, there were a few things that were just a bit off.
You mean the fact that you said autopsy? I went, oh, damn, when I saw that. You said autopsy, bro.
Yeah. So I think with the Dallas Cowboys in that game, I think the Dallas Cowboys in that game, I thought, do you know what? You have those games where things just don't go your way. Brandon Aubrey misses 2 kicks that mean, and he's never missed 2 kicks in an NFL game. He misses 2 kicks, which mean we have 19 seconds on the 20-yard line. with 19 seconds to go, and we have to take a field goal and then go for an onside kick as well. So like if we kicks those two, we would have only needed 4 points rather than the 2-score game. So, just things like weren't going the Cowboys' way. It was just one of those games. But the issue with the Dallas Cowboys, Jake, is they've got themselves into a position where they couldn't have one of those games. Like, to make the playoffs, they had to win out every single game. They left themselves no room for error, 0 room for error in the entire thing. So your kicker missing 2 kicks, okay, that can't happen for the Dallas Cowboys because of where they were at the start of the season. So Jay, I've said that the Dallas Cowboys need an autopsy because the season is dead. The Cowboys have missed the playoffs. What went wrong with the Dallas Cowboys this season? What are their big problems?
Yeah, that is a big question too. Like, I mean, you struggle at the offense right away, but in the beginning, but that kicked off and went going. We all had questions about the run game. You answered that, but the defense let you down severely, definitely at the beginning of the year. And then you bring in 2 new D tackles and expect them to get with the new scheme on the fly. That's always rough too. I think Overshown being out hurt because we saw that he is just a fucking missile flying around the field. I think that's another reason why the Cowboys were more comfortable moving on from Micah, is because they know what they have in Overshown. Am I saying he's Micah? No. But I did call him last year Micah Light all year. So yeah. I think it boiled down to your defense, because if your defense helps you win 1 or 2 games in the beginning and waiting for your offense to get as electric as it became, and I actually think you're going into the game, you were the number 1 offense in the NFL. I don't know what you are, right, if it's still the same. But I think it would have made a big difference. I think it would have made a huge difference, and you'd still be in the playoff run and have a shot at the division.
Yeah, and I think, like with the Cowboys, I think everybody's going to say it's Micah Parsons. Like, everybody's going to say the defense, it's Micah Parsons. Like, I've seen it all on, like, everybody dragging the Cowboys for trading Micah. But it wasn't that. That's not actually what it was, because the actual defense was top 10, top 15. When you have the top offense in the league, the defense just needs to be top 15, like 12, 11. Like, that's kind of the area that you need the defense to be, which is where it's got to now. Since bringing in Quentin Williams, it's been a top 15 defense in the league, including giving up 36 points to the Vikings as well. So it's been a top 15 defense. It's the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys had a lot of injuries throughout the entire season. So Donovan Wilson being out injured, Malik Hooker being out injured, that safety position was just completely vacated through injuries in that period of the game. And Donovan Wilson made huge plays all night on Sunday. So yeah,
what is going on with Trayvon Diggs also? Because that is not from hitting your fucking head. I don't care. You are not out this long from hitting your head at home.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, exactly. Something's gone on with Diggs. So it's this. Everybody saying like their defense is terrible. The defense is terrible. Well, Shannon Revel, the rookie cornerback who was injured at the start of the season, he's come on and made huge plays as well. Like, they have players all across the defense now. They have a good defense. They were injured throughout the season, and they just failed to put together a game plan to do that. And for me, there was parts of the season where the run game is so good, you shouldn't be giving the Giants a chance to score 37 points. Like, they shouldn't be getting the ball enough. Like, there was parts of the season where they didn't rely on the run game and those big plays to take the pressure off the defense and stuff like that as well. So they didn't play complementary football in that beginning part of the season. The defense was a real problem. But Jay, I think doing an autopsy of the Dallas Cowboys season, it's not as bad as everybody thinks it is, and everybody's going to be saying online after this week. It's just completely not as bad as that.
Just to push back, if you're having an autopsy, it got as bad as it could fucking get.
Well, yeah, because your season's dead. But like, everybody's making out like they're the worst team in the NFL.
I'm just saying, when you use the word autopsy, it doesn't get any worse than the situation you're in.
autopsy. Yeah, well, that's true because we're eliminated from that. We're basically
You're dead if you got an autopsy. Like
the Eagles have to lose out now, and the Cowboys have to win out from this point. And the Eagles play the Commanders twice, and they look, like the Eagles. We'll talk about the Eagles because they play on Saturday, but they look good this week as well. So, so the Dallas Cowboys are dead. They're out. They're gone. But I don't think it's as bad as that. And Jay, I don't know whether you feel the same. The Dallas Cowboys and the Minnesota Vikings could be the two most improved teams going into next season. I think they're two of the teams in the best stead to go from missing the playoffs to into the playoffs.
NFC Championship game next year. Book it.
Book it. Serious or not serious?
No, I think they'll both be improved. I'm not claiming a NFC Championship game this early.
Yeah, I agree. I think they'll both make the playoffs next season. I think that the run game from Dallas looks a lot better. With that offensive line is just going to get better and better as they play more games. Tyler Guyton's been out. The game that they lost against the Lions, like that got sacked 6 times because we were missing the left tackle and stuff like that. So,
don't forget that it depends on how well the Indiana Bears do.
yeah, right. The Indiana Bears moving out. Nothing to do with leverage over the city of Chicago.
Yeah, nothing to do with
billionaires trying to get taxpayer money. Doesn't sound right to me.
Indiana might let them build a casino, though. It might actually happen if they do that. But okay,
yeah. But and I think the Vikings, you'll see JJ. I think you'll see a lot of progression from JJ next year. I wouldn't be surprised if he hits a real third year, but second year jump going into next season as well. So two teams that are down and out of the playoff picture, but next season is the season for both the Dallas Cowboys and the Minnesota Vikings. Jay, a team that might have had their season ended is the Green Bay Packers. They went up against the Denver Broncos. The Broncos came out with the win, but Jay, how much does the loss of Micah Parsons mean to the Green Bay Packers? Parsons out for the rest of the season with an ACL and probably quite a bit of early next season as well.
Are we talking this year or are we talking for the future?
Do both this year and this year.
This year, I don't think it affects him a whole lot. I mean, yeah, he's a great player. He's going to get you some sacks, but I don't think it changes the makeup of that team. I think they're still exactly what I thought they were. I sounded like Denny Green. Rest in peace. They're good. They're just not great. And at times they're really good, and they're just not great. And I think in the NFC, it is going to take great to get you to the Super Bowl. And that's why I said the Packers needed home field advantage, and it doesn't look like they can get it now. And I still think for the Bears to do anything, because I think they're good, and I don't think they're even – I think the Packers are probably a little better and as a whole team overall than the Bears. But you need home field advantage to do something, because if you got to keep going on the road in the NFC, good luck. And so that's why I think these teams that are good, not great, are going to face a few really great teams, and they're going to need some advantage, luck, be on the road, something. And it's really hard to get lucky in the playoffs multiple games.
Yeah, I mean, with the Packers, they beat up on bad teams, right? They're a perfect roster to go and beat up on bad teams, I think. They have, they can hide behind a decent run game, like a very solid run game that has the potential to go off against a bad run defense. They have a quarterback who can make huge plays, but can also be a little bit inconsistent with those.
When he's hot, he is on fire. But when he's cold, it's like, damn.
Yeah, exactly. And then they have a defense that if you put their defensive line up against a bad offensive line, and Mike has always been like that. Micah Parsons just destroys any bad O-line he's up against just because of how quick he is and how much he gets to the quarterback. But if he goes up against, so he never did great against the Philadelphia Eagles, for example, because he would go up against Lane Johnson the entire time and kind of be held down a little bit. Like, they have a real front running team. Their only win against a playoff team this year. Their only wins against a playoff team this year are they've got 2 wins against the Lions and they've got a win against the Bears. They're their 2 wins against playoff teams this year. They've drawn to the Cowboys in that stretch. They've beat the Steelers as well, which is another playoff games, but they lost to the Eagles. They've lost to the Panthers in that stretch as well. So,
the Steelers are a playoff team by default.
Yeah, exactly. So they've lost to the Eagles, and they've lost to the Broncos now in that stretch as well, and then they've beat the Lions twice, and the Lions aren't currently in the playoff picture.
They lost to Carolina.
Yeah. The Lions aren't currently in the playoff picture either. So actually,
didn't they lose to the Browns too?
Yeah, they lost to the Browns as well. So no, they came out. They won by 3 against.
By 3. Yeah, that's it. They lost to Carolina, but barely beat the Browns. Yes.
Yeah. So the Packers, they have this quality where it's like you come up against a bad team and you put them to bed. Unless the Panthers and the Browns are just the 2 of the weirdest teams in the NFL at the moment.
But if you want to win a Super Bowl, you got to beat those 2 teams, right? Like that's kind of the argument.
Yeah, and and most importantly, they've got to go to the teams like the Broncos. They've got to go to the teams like the Eagles, and they've got to win those games as well. So, I think good but not great. I think that's fair enough. But Micah Parsons missing, I think it maybe doesn't do a lot in terms of game plan, but I do think it does a lot in terms of psychology. Like your best player is missing. It also means you don't have to have like double, triple teams out there on Micah. You can put other things on the defensive line. But Jay, going forward into the rest of this, like Micah Parsons' time as a Packer, they're going to be missing him at the start of next year as well. And he has a huge contract that really makes their entire team struggle.
And it's his ACL, not his MCL, so it's a lot longer recovery. Nobody except Adrian Peterson ever looked good coming off of a late in the season injury from the ACL. Rashad Gary's got to step up for him. I mean, they talk about him being an elite pass rusher. We'll do something then if he's gone. But where it hurts them moving forward, like you said, the cap, they're out 2 first-round draft picks. Like it really puts the Packers in like a standstill pattern, right, for the next year and a half until the 2027 season, maybe. And are they gonna then be looking at, we want some of our money back from Micah, so we're going to try to get him to restructure. And then, I mean, we already seen how Micah felt. And I'm not saying he was wrong, but Micah didn't like the way Jerry handled it. So if they want to take some money back, this might be a problem. This ACL may have just kicked up a shitstorm that lasts 3 years.
Yeah, and I think with that team building part, like Micah Parsons has missed lots of games in his short NFL career. Like he's not had a season where he's hit every single. So like when you look at these contracts, you look at people who are on a similar type of money. Myles Garrett doesn't miss a game for the Cleveland Browns and he's about to hit the sack record. Micah Parsons misses time as well. So you have this huge chunk of your cap investment over there, and good luck trying to get him to restructure because he wasn't that guy for the Dallas Cowboys. He might be that guy for the Packers. We'll see. But
I know, and you got to go in a restructure where he takes less money, not where he just moves the money around, because the teams don't even have to ask for that. That's written in. But I'd actually have to go really read his contract too to know, like, is there a year where they can get out if this knee doesn't look good? Because never had my knee reconstructed, guys, but I watched a couple sports doctors talking this week. And they were like, nobody's ever coming back 100% after this. Never. It's just going to affect Patrick Mahomes less than it affects Micah Parsons, because Patrick Mahomes, his ability isn't because of his first step. Micah Parsons' first step is out of this world.
Yeah, and it's his entire he's not a big-bodied guy. Micah, it's not that he's not strong, it's just if he doesn't beat you on that first step, he has to do a lot. It's a lot of agility work to get to the quarterback from there, and you just lose that agility with the ACL injury as well. So it's a big injury, and look, this is a Cowboys fan and a Vikings fan talking about the Green Bay Packers defensive end who used to play for the Dallas Cowboys. So maybe we're saying things like to make ourselves feel a bit better, but I really do think that this is a big guy going forward.
who literally said after the trade, it doesn't scare me. Like it does not scare me. Like a defensive end doesn't change the world for me. And that's not to say they're not important, because they are. But if you would have told me they were bringing in Joe Burrow, I'd have been scared. You know what I mean? Like but I got to ask you, do you think he's going to look like he's shot out of a cannon? Because that's how he's looked. And that's the question.
Maybe we've seen with these ACLs that it's definitely not the first year. You can kind of get to some semblance of it in the second year back, right? Like, so maybe in his second year back, because his first step is so good. He's only got to maybe get to 80 to 90% of
Fair
it
enough.
to still be one of the best defensive ends in the NFL. But next season, no, I don't think we see him until halfway through the season, to be honest, into next season either.
I agree.
And there's so much of the cap wrapped up in Jordan Love, who's inconsistent, and Micah Parsons, who now we don't know. That's a lot of money wrapped up in two players that we don't know. So we'll see where the Green Bay Packers go from there. Jay, the Denver Broncos, they look great. They're now 12-2. They're basically clinched their division. I think now. As well with 3 games to go. So home field advantage in Mile High. How did the Denver Broncos win this game? How did they come out on top against the Green Bay Packers?
Besides the fact that they're just a better team, right? But they slowed down the run, and then they got Jordan Love moving. And that's exactly what you had to do. And then Bo Nix just does what Bo Nix does, right? Like he has the weirdest games where I'll watch the game and I'll be like, yeah, he played pretty good. And then I'll look at his stat line and I'll be like, okay, he played better than I thought.
Yeah, it's when you're watching Bo Nix, it's do you know what, for me it's the same as JJ McCarthy. It's the same as what I was saying at the start of the show. It's like, he's just taking the short routes that are available, and then all of a sudden on a 4th down, it's like an unbelievable throw to complete to Cortland Sutton. Or as soon as they get into the red zone,
that throw.
Yeah, exactly. And then or they hit the red zone. The Green Bay Packers are running disguise. He reads it perfectly, and Troy Franklin's open up the middle, and he hits that perfectly for a second-year quarterback. Like, it's in those big moments, he has those big plays, which is exactly the kind of thing that a Sean Payton offense needs you to do. So Sean Payton, his entire thing is, have the game ticking over, control the game, and then in those big moments come out on top. And that's what Bo Nix has done. And the Denver Broncos have been, lots of people have been saying, they've only been winning by 1-score games. They've only been like, Bo Nix has only come alive in the 4th quarter. And it's like, well, that's when you need to come alive, like you're in the game. That,
that's what scares me for them in the playoffs. It's like you don't know how to put a team away.
Yeah, I mean the play where they tried to do they were trying to draw them offside, and then they did a full back outside run on 4th and 1. Like, if they make that, then they put the Packers away. I get it, but maybe just punt the ball away because your defense is playing amazing.
I'm just saying.
I don't understand trick plays. Just get your best play on the field in that down, right?
If you are down, if it is a 1-score game and the game is on the line in the 4th quarter and Josh Allen has the ball, you're going home. You're going home.
Yeah. Looking at the Bills at the moment as well. But again, for me, it's that thing with Bo Nix where it's, four touchdowns in this game, 302 yards, 23 of 34. Like, he just comes out with the big plays and the big performances. Like, the Denver Broncos are a for real football team. And look, we'll see. I hope that that's the AFC Championship. That would be a really exciting AFC Championship game. The Bills against. I don't know whether it's possible actually. The Broncos are still in place where they're able to get. They're in the driving seat for the number one seat as well. They're in the driving seat. They're in the driving seat for the bye. Now in the AFC as well. So everything could be going through Mile High, which would be obviously a great for them. Great atmosphere and a difficult stadium to play in as well. I think the Denver Broncos are seriously for real. Jay, to be honest, with a defense as good as they show and Bo Nix making those plays, I think they might be my favorite for the AFC. I think they're my favorite to win the AFC at that current moment because of where they're standing and the fact it could all be going through Mile High and they control that. Are they your favorite for the AFC?
I think the Patriots are my favorite even after the loss. I don't care. They're still my favorite to make it. So I think I just think if they play the Broncos, I think those one-score games are going to hurt somebody, and it could be the Patriots. It could be the Bills. Who knows after this last week? Maybe it's the Jags. I don't know. But one-score game, you might get hurt, and that's the only thing that makes me nervous about them. I said it last week. It's like if they could actually put teams away at times by like double digits, maybe even 2 scores. Get to 9 points. Get up by fucking 9. How about that?
Yeah, it's quite funny that I just went. I'm not betting on the Broncos winning by a touchdown or more at one point in the season, and they actually haven't won by a touchdown or more since that point as well, which is a problem in the playoffs.
It just scares me. It doesn't mean you can't do it, but it makes your road harder.
Yeah, and having that big playability is great, but
the AFC is so wide open for different reasons than the NFC, right? The NFC, they're going to beat the hell out of each other. The AFC, there's so many, like, Joe Burrow's not there. Patrick Mahomes isn't going to be there. Like, it's just a different type of wide open.
Yeah, and they're so the Broncos are currently the number 1 seed. You know,
Patriots too.
Look, they'll probably end up playing whoever, you know, like there's some good stuff in there, but
I think that I'm just guessing because I looked at schedules, and this is me just predicting forward. If it finishes out like it is right now, the Bills will come in as the 5th seed.
6th seed. Chargers are the 5th, yeah.
Well, no, I said if it plays out the way I planned it.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
That's all.
Yeah. But you could end up seeing, you know, so the Jags and the Steelers are going to probably win their divisions. I mean, we'll see. It's kind of the Jags have got a pretty steady hand. The Steelers, you know, we don't know what's going to happen with the Steelers, but you know, the Texans, and that means the Texans and the Bills are there. Or the Chargers, the Texas Bills and Chargers are there as well, which you think, okay, maybe they're favorites in those games, in those first round games. So the Broncos on their bye could be coming up against the Texans defense, the Bills offense, or just the Chargers run game, and it's like, okay, that's it's not exactly what you want as a first overall seed as well, but. Yeah. Okay, Jay, moving on to the Seattle Seahawks going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. And Jay, Phillip Rivers came out. He looked okay.
No, he threw 160 yards or something. Like, get the fuck out of here. There was a couple throws where you're like, yeah, you were an NFL quarterback once. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, dude, and good for you, Phil. I'm not mad at Phillip Rivers for doing it. They probably offered him a couple $1 million to come finish out these last games. Like, I'm not mad at you. But what the fuck are we doing? We got a geriatric man playing. And what the fuck was up with the Seahawks not being able to put this team away is more of a question I got.
Yeah. So, Jay, grade Phillip Rivers' performance for us. Like I was at a C- because, you know,
okay, that's funny.
Yeah,
it's funny. I was just gonna say a C, and the only reason it's a C is because he actually got on the field and completed a couple passes at his age.
Threw for a touchdown as well at his age. It was like everybody's coming out and they're giving A's and B's because it's better than expected. But that's not what A's and B's are for. A's and B's are for A's are for excellence.
Wait, how is it better than expected? Did they expect him to throw for 70 yards and 3 interceptions? Well, like, what was expected?
Well, I feel like people thought that Phillip Rivers would spend most of his time on his arse getting sacked because of how good the Seattle Seahawks defense is.
Okay, fair enough.
They only scored 16 points. Like,
he gets a C for not getting injured.
He exactly. He gets a C- for just, you know, coming out and making like solid plays and keeping them in a game. That
I think we're being nice, honestly, too.
Yeah, exactly. But it was against a great defense. Like the Seahawks are a great defense as well. But Jay, is this game a worry for the Seahawks, and their NFC Championship like pedigree. Are you worried after watching this performance from the Seattle Seahawks that they couldn't put this Indianapolis Colts team away?
Yeah, I told you before, like, this is the type of shit that scares me about the Seahawks if I'm a Seahawks fan, right? Yeah. Like, there is games where they look like, and against good teams, they look like the best team in the league. And then they have games where Sam Darnold throws 4 interceptions or he makes a turnover at the worst time. Or in this game, you just can't score. And I am like, I get the Colts have a good defense, but it's not that good. Like, we've seen the Jags put up points on them. We've seen the Texans put up points on them. Like, teams put up points on the Colts. It's not like it doesn't happen. So, it makes me go, what the fuck is going on? But is it just one of those games? Is it just because you're playing a game in from a team you're not very familiar with, you don't play very often? Is it just one of those games? Tonight will tell. Tonight is going to tell a lot.
Yeah, I think the Seahawks just, that when you look at the box score of the game, it's like, how was it this close? Because it's Sam Darnold threw for 271 yards. Jackson Smith-Njigba went off for 113 yards. Like, they outgained.
I almost said they couldn't move the ball, but I'm like, idiot. They moved the ball. They just couldn't score. Yeah. That's why I was like, you can't score. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they outgained the Colts by nearly 100 total yards in the game as well. Like, it should have really been totally put away, but they just couldn't get it done in the red zone, which they have struggled with a little bit at different points in the season, coming up with those red zone throws. I really do think in those games, it's Sam Darnold's trying really hard to look after the ball. Like, sometimes I watch and I'm like, throw into that tight window, Sam. Like, just go for it. Just let it rip. And it's him trying to look after the ball, I think.
And the reason he was so efficient in the red zone with the Vikings is because they have big-bodied receivers.
Yeah, that's another thing. Jackson Smith-Njigba isn't that like tight. That like Jackson Smith-Njigba is amazing. Has been the best wide receiver in the league. It's just in open space, he absolutely tears people up, and then he does make great athletic catches as well. It's just he's not that big-bodied guy that you can be confident in a tight window.
I thought this is where Cooper Kupp would have been. And not that he's huge, but he can body people out. He can, box out like a basketball player. We saw it in the Rams, and I thought he would do more. I think they need to get their tight ends more involved because Sam Darnold was really good with the tight ends last year. And a good tight end can be any quarterback's best friend.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Sam Darnold really benefits from – I think he has some mental blocks about kind of interceptions and stuff like that, obviously without being a quarterback and without knowing Sam Darnold and stuff like that. But just from watching him, it looks like he's got some mental blocks about throwing interceptions because of, like seeing ghosts and stuff for the New York Jets and all of those kind of things and making those bad throws and making those.
I think all rookies see ghosts that time when they're rookies as quarterback. The problem is he got caught on mic saying it. It's not the problem that he said it. It's that he got caught saying it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But I think he carries that. I think he carries that with him because of the, the press around it. And it's like, if he throws 2 interceptions, 3 interceptions in a game, it's like, oh, Sam Darnold can't be an elite quarterback. That's it. That's his career over. Matthew Stafford, if he throws 4 interceptions in a game, like, it's okay. On to the next week. That happens. On to the next week. But Sam Darnold, it's like, oh, it's Sam Darnold. He can't do it. He
is a really capable quarterback. And if the Vikings didn't have JJ, I would have said sign Sam Darnold to a multi-year deal. Sam Darnold is better than what Kirk Cousins was for the Vikings, and Kirk is a solid quarterback. So, like, anybody saying that Sam Darnold's not a top NFL quarterback is crazy. Now, top what is the question? But he is definitely a top 10 NFL quarterback. So, like, we can stop that craziness right there. But
he's the Seahawks franchise quarterback now. Like, that's who he is. Like, the Seahawks have no need to ever go look for. It's not like one of those positions where if you have Sam Darnold, you should be looking somewhere else. It's like, no. If you have Sam Darnold, you can go and win a Super Bowl. Like that. He is a good, worse quarterbacks than Sam Darnold have won Super Bowls. Like you can go and win Super Bowls.
Brad Johnson.
Yeah, you can go and win Super Bowls with quarterbacks the standard of Sam Darnold. It's just sometimes I think he has those blocks in not wanting to throw picks a little bit too much. So he needs those big bodied guys to make him more confident in the throw. So I think they sometimes have a little problem in the red zone, but I think this was just a weird game with Phillip Rivers coming back, and it was against a team that you don't really know. And the Colts have been a playoff team all year. Remember, like Daniel Jones had them as the highest EPA offense in the league before he got injured. So they have been a playoff team all year. It's just, they've got some injuries to key people now, and it's just a weird team to play at the moment, the Indianapolis Colts. So I'm not too worried about this game showing them problems in the NFC Championship. As you say, it's tonight's game. That's the thing. Jay, we're going to talk more about the Seahawks probably in a little bit. We'll probably more focus on the Rams now that we've covered the Seahawks so much. But go on.
I was talking to StreamYard. I was telling, if you say clip this, it'll mark it, and then it'll clip it for me later on. Sorry. I usually get that in, and you never hear me. So it was weird that you caught me this time. I've been doing it for weeks.
Sorry, I've heard you. With the Seahawks, it's moving on to the Colts. Sorry, with the Indianapolis Colts, Anthony Richardson has activated his open practice window, his 21 days practice window after IR, so he could be coming back conceivably before the end of the season. Jay, who is going to be the Indianapolis Colts quarterback next year? Who should they be looking at? Because Daniel Jones is out for a big chunk of next year as well with those injuries.
Mac Jones, Marcus Mariota. Trying to think of who else. There's probably a couple out there that I'm not thinking of right top of my head. Maybe somebody should go in the preseason, because you could probably get him for nothing. Take a flyer on one of these guys that people thought highly of in past drafts, like Hendon Hooker or somebody, and bring them into camp. I'm not even saying bring them in as a starter. Bring them in with a Mariota and see if maybe you can get something out of these guys that people thought maybe could have been something in the NFL. I don't know what you do, and I don't think even when Daniel Jones comes back next year, I don't think he's going to be a very effective quarterback, because a lot of his skill set is based on his athletic ability and his legs, and his ability to be able to run makes the defense play honest. And when you don't have that ability to run coming off of this injury the first year, we talked about this is a type of injury, again, like Micah, like Mahomes, you're looking at like 2027. I even think it's going to be rough on Mahomes next year, but I think Mahomes is enough from the pocket where he'll figure it out quicker than the other two.
Yeah, I think with the Colts, like the one thing that I want to see them do is they've put this roster together and it looks good. Go get Mendoza. That's the guy that I want them to go for.
They don't have the draft capital.
Yeah, exactly.
They gave it up to go get Sauce.
Yeah, they've now exactly that Sauce Gardner pick now. Oh, how good was that? If it stops you from being able to make those plays to go up and get Mendoza as well, it's just make the call, see what can happen. But now Mendoza's won the Heisman. He's going to go in the top 5 picks of this draft. Like people were kind of predicting or maybe he'll drop to the mid part of this draft. But
first overall pick.
You think first overall now? Whoever trades up with the Titans to go get him, right?
This is the same thing they were saying last year, though, right? About Cam, oh, he's not going to go first overall. And then, like a month before the draft, everybody's like, "Yep, first overall pick." Everybody changed their mind because Titans were like, "No, we're taking him." It's the most, and I'm not saying Mendoza is, but it's the most overdrafted position in the NFL. If you need a quarterback, it doesn't matter where you're drafting, you go get him, right? Like that's the rule. And the Jets need a quarterback. Miami now proved they need a fucking quarterback. All these other teams in the NFL right now who need quarterbacks are going to be looking. I hear that the Browns are looking for a quarterback, which I think is the dumbest fucking thing ever. But free Shedeur, let him go somewhere with a coach that really wants to nurture what he's doing. The 2-time coach of the year who I've defended from the beginning. I think it's time for Stefanski to go. Like, what the fuck are you doing, and why do you hate Sanders so bad? Maybe
if you're the Colts, give the Browns a call for Sanders. That's not a terrible play. If they bring in Mendoza, then give them a call for Sanders. But the other guy out there, Jay, Dylan Gabriel, Kirk Cousins now for the Falcons. Kirk Cousins for the Falcons now looks great. Kirk Cousins for the Falcons now looks great.
You should go to the Colts.
Yeah, call the Falcons and go get Kirk Cousins.
He's a free agent after this year.
Yeah, let the Falcons make their mistake by not getting rid of Michael Penix and trying to keep Kirk Cousins instead. Make them make that mistake and go get Kirk Cousins as well. The Colts have options and they will come back stronger next year. They're going to be one of the most exciting teams to watch in the offseason.
Yeah, good luck. Jonathan Taylor's going to be wanting a contract extension because he only had that 3-year deal, and now he just balled out in the first 2 years of that 3 years. So you're going to have to pay some money to Jonathan Taylor. So get ready, Indianapolis.
Yeah, I think it's also a fun. They're also just a generally fun team because no one saw them coming, but now everybody sees them coming. That means as well their players also see them as a good team. So there's going to be a few guys, I think, going to go look for those bigger paychecks and stuff like that as well. I don't know what Michael Pittman's on, for example, but he's not one of the highest paid wide receivers in the league. And he might want to be one of the higher paid wide receivers in the league as well this season. So, yeah, the Colts could do with going cheaper quarterback.
He might want to know what it's like to play with a real NFL quarterback after playing with Daniel Jones for a half a season. He might be like, I got to go find a real quarterback.
Yeah, all I can guarantee is that Anthony Richardson will not be the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts going into next season, no matter what happens with his IR window.
I know he'll get another chance, but do you think his career is over?
The Jets are gonna throw a punt on him. That's what's gonna happen.
I think somebody will bring him in, but I don't think anybody's gonna start him. And I think unless it comes to injury, we never see him play meaning NFL football again.
I think he has all the potential to be like one of those Ryan Fitzpatrick, not to be disrespectful to Ryan Fitzpatrick, but those guys that you just see in glimpses every other season. They just do some incredible things on highlight reels, but never really make it. Ryan Fitzpatrick's a bit better than that, but that type of guy that comes off that you just bring on and a quarterback's injured and all of a sudden you think, where the hell has this guy been? Like a Gardner Minshew every now and again has those games where he comes in and just goes absolutely crazy. And it's like, oh, where's he gone? We forgot all about him. So I guess we'll see where they go from there. Jay, the Los Angeles Rams went up against the Detroit Lions and the Rams came out on top. Jay, is Matthew Stafford now the clear NFL MVP?
Yeah, I think he's the leader for the MVP right now. I still think there's enough games to go where somebody could steal it if he shits the bed, but I think it's his to lose.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it sounds like a lot of the people with the ballots are kind of giving it to him in that game. He keeps coming out big in big games as well. He threw for 368 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception in that last game as well.
Did you see Puka's hot mic?
I've seen Puka's just generally in terrible trouble for a range of things. Yeah,
did you hear him talking about the refs?
I haven't heard him talking about the refs.
How terrible they fucking were and how bad they've been, and yeah.
But yeah, he's also been making anti-Semitic social media posts that he's had to apologize for. And
I saw something about him saying he didn't know it was anti-Semitic, but I don't know exactly what he did because I saw it before we went on.
Yeah, and his brother's also just been arrested for stealing a car of a Lakers player as well. Puka Nakua's brother as well. So that kind of stuff is falling apart.
Because he seemed like the most clean-cut NFL player, didn't he? Like, no, we're never going to have a scandal from Puka.
But Jay, with Devontae Adams injured, and it looks like he's not going to play in this next game, and it was coming away. We'll talk about it when we get onto the game, but I wanted to say this till we get onto the game, but we'll just do it now as we were talking about it. How much does that kind of stuff from Puka Nacua, that kind of with Devontae Adams out now, it is Puka Nacua's offense again. How much does that stuff where Puka Nacua is talking about, he's having to defend himself from social media posts and anti-Semitic stuff that he said on social media that I haven't seen either. I've just seen the reports that he's been called out for saying something anti-Semitic and he apologized for it. So I haven't seen it. So I'm not going to judge him for the social media posts. I'm just talking about the drama around saying it. That his brother's just stole a car and has been arrested for stealing a car from one of the Lakers players. And then he's now been caught on hot mics chatting shit about the refs as well, which, I mean, fair, but having been surrounded by all that drama, how much does that drama kind of affect a player's performance going into a week, do you think?
I think sometimes it can be the thing that catapults you into a great game because it's the only place you can block all that shit out, right? So it depends on the person. Is it going to dwell on you? Are you going to be thinking about it when you're playing? Are you going to have the Brett Favre effect? Your dad dies, and you go out there and throw for 5 fucking million yards, a bunch of touchdowns. You know what I mean? Like, he went out and put the beating on the Raiders that game. So it just depends on the player. I don't know why I feel like Puka is one of those resilient players that this might catapult him into a better game.
Yeah, I think he is one of those guys as well, isn't he? That has like that kind of dog in him, and he wants to be the main guy.
Don't you feel like the Rams will rally around him too as a team?
I mean,
in the locker room, not necessarily on the mic, but I think in the locker room. I think Matthew Stafford's putting his arm around him. I think the leaders on that team and Sean McVay are like, we got you.
Yeah, I agree. I think they will. I think they will rally around him, and I think he is that guy. And it is his brother that's in trouble. And it's just I worry. Tyreek Hill. When Tyreek Hill got his house broken into, he didn't have an amazing game that next week, and that kind of stuff. But that's the kind of stuff that's happening to him. Tyreek Hill went through like the police stopping him from getting into the stadium and all of that kind of stuff.
And Tyreek Hill seems like more emotional type of person too. Like that's not a bad thing, but he does. He seems more emotional. But not that we all ever know these guys. We're making guesses on their character from fucking 30-second interviews we see over a few years,
Yeah, I agree, and I think with I'm just having a quick read of the anti-Semitic. It was an anti-Semitic gesture that he made that he's saying he didn't know it was anti-Semitic. I don't know what the gesture is. Obviously, no one's putting it online because it's anti-Semitic. So it's like it's a gesture he made on a live stream that is anti-Semitic, and he's come out and apologized and said I'm deeply sorry, and sounds like he's real about it as well. And obviously, it's it.
And then he's Hawaiian, man. That Hawaiian culture, like I think that helps because they're very like strong-willed individuals.
Yeah. So the Rams are having there's a lot of drama at the wide receiver position at the moment, but I think they'll probably be fine going forward with that. And Devontae Adams seems to be out for tonight's game as well, but we'll see how they kind of carry on with that. Matthew Stafford, I think, has been really great this season. This has been like a top season for him when no quarterbacks have really been standing up as a standout MVP play. Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to have to break some sort of like receiving record in 16 games to be able to claim an MVP. And, Jonathan Taylor, if the Colts aren't winning, isn't going to make it in and stuff like that as well. So Myles Garrett breaking the sack record. Is he the one guy? But, if your team doesn't make it to the playoffs, can you really get MVP? Like Myles Garrett.
Well, you end up with Defensive Player of the Year, right? So
yeah, it's just Myles Garrett is the MVP, I would say, for going out and breaking the sack record and just absolutely being unbelievable. But if your team doesn't make the playoffs, like you're not going to win MVP as well. So Matthew Stafford, MVP for me. Jay, why did the Lions struggle in this game? Why did they struggle to finances? They had a great offensive game, but just couldn't get stops on defense in this one.
Well, they played a good team, and they were playing against the refs because Parkinson did not fucking score. He was not fucking – I'm not even sure he caught the fucking ball. Like, that's how bad that call was. And then we got pictures all over the internet where his knee is down, and he's a fucking yard from the fucking end zone. And then they call – and then it gets reviewed, and they fucking call it – I am so lost on what the fuck is going on in the NFL. This is just proving my overreactions from the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think the NFL is just they need to be better on the reffing. There's so much stuff that they can do to get better on the reffing. That's the thing. There's so much stuff that they can actually do to get better.
Do you think they're sabotaging the refs because their CBA is up and they want a better deal?
Why would sabotaging the refs help them get a better CBA?
Because the refs, if they're that bad, you don't get to come in and ask for the moon. You can. That's part of negotiations. You got 10,000 fucking calls wrong. Why would we pay you what we're still paying you? Why would we give you what we're still giving you? I wonder if they're like that. If New York's sabotaging the refs so they have better bargaining because it's been that bad.
Yeah, but is there better bargaining? Does it give the players maybe a bit better bargaining as well? If you say you're just completely fucking us over the entire time with how about the referee?
Well, you never admit it. You go in, you sabotage them, and then you go in and go, look, you guys got 30,000 calls wrong this season compared to 10,000 last year. And then I know I'm exaggerating because the refs have me pissed off, everybody, but like it's been the worst year of officiating I can ever remember.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's not necessarily like I don't think they're sabotaging intentionally. I like to think, but maybe it's
billionaires are who you trust.
Yeah, exactly. That's my mean. That's what I mean. That's why I like to think, but I don't know. With just billionaires in general, but with the refereeing calls, that my problem. It isn't actually the refs at this point. That's not my problem. They're just in this impossible situation with an ever faster and faster game. They're also all 80. Like they need to have less geriatric refs. And then
is that Parkinson call not one of the worst?
Yeah, it's a poor call. But the biggest problem is like they didn't use the technology properly to get it sorted out.
But they used the technology and still got it wrong.
They used it and got it wrong, and it's just I don't understand. I don't get it.
I don't get how if all of us can see it, how they can't see it. Like that's where I am so lost in this.
Yeah, there's a big one in the Ashes actually. The technology was broken. So this can happen. So in the cricket, the technology broke for one of the things that England did. So the sound. So you need to do this particular review, you need the sound to match up with the image, and the sound wasn't matched up with the image properly. So you can't actually use the technology. They couldn't use the technology because the sound wasn't matched up with the image. And it's like, come on, guys, like, come on. You professional fucking you professionals. This is a big deal.
Do you know right now, as we're recording, it records the audio and video as one, and it records both separately and then shows you where to link them even.
Yeah, they were using the wrong mic.
I'm just saying, if we can do it, they can do it. Do better. That's exactly my point.
Yeah, the whole thing is just like, come on, guys. Like and in cricket, the technology use has been pretty amazing. They're always pretty spot on. Like it's totally fine. It's just this one was really weirdly bad. Fuck it, just get it right. It's like really big stakes. So on the lines, I think they're not one of the best defenses in the league. That's another thing here. They went up against one of the best offenses in the league. They're not one of the best defenses in the league. So they were always going to struggle on that side of the ball in this game. And the Rams are a kind of offensive juggernaut, and they played like it. I thought they called a pretty decent offensive game in this one. They moved the ball against a really great offense as well. The Lions might miss the playoffs here is the big thing. And it's not because of how they've played in recent games. They've kind of fixed the problems. It's in those early games, they were just getting their offensive play calling all completely off. And now they've fixed that. But is it too little, too late? We'll see if the Lions can make it. Jay, a team that can't make it is the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs have been eliminated from the playoffs in the first time in Patrick Mahomes' career, with Patrick Mahomes also going off injured. But Jay, what went wrong for the Chiefs this season?
I think they aged. I think Travis Kelce got old right in front of our eyes, and first ballot Hall of Famer, arguably the greatest, if not one of the greatest tight ends to ever play the game. But I think he aged out right in front of our eyes. And when Patrick Mahomes and him were hot, it made everybody else be better, because Travis Kelce had this way of just finding the open area and sitting down or getting there for Patrick. Patrick and him were so linked with what the other one was thinking. It's almost like they were looking through each other's eyes, which opened it up for everybody else, because Travis Kelce now is this huge threat in the middle of the field, opening it up for the deep shots down. I think that hurt. Their run game hasn't been great over the years, but it looked even worse this year. I think they aged out. I think we saw age catch up to a lot of these players. Jones on the defensive side of the ball, I think Chris Jones is kind of getting aged out too. And I think it all happened at once.
I think when you watch the Chiefs this year, it was really early on. It was Patrick Mahomes is having to make way more plays here than he normally has to make at this point in the season. You know, it's like we've seen him do it in playoff games, but that's a different thing. That's when everything's on the line at this point in the season. And it was never going to sustain itself all the way through the year with them being like that. And he threw more turnover-worthy plays in that early part of the season than he's ever thrown in the NFL as well, because he was trying to do too much. He was making those runs and all of that kind of stuff. And that kind of stuff just eventually caught up with them. And I think, Jake, actually, Andy Reid needs to take some of the blame in this one as well. Some of the play calling was actually off. Some of the play calling felt a bit tired. The guys weren't getting open as often as they usually are. They weren't getting schemed open either. But when you don't have the pieces like Travis Kelce to like take attention away and really cover up the middle, like how much more difficult it is. Rashee Rice coming off that injury and then suspension and stuff like that as well. So they haven't been able to evolve the offense as much with Rashee Rice in it. Xavier Worthy, there has to be questions asked about whether he's going to be that first round talent that they thought he was going to be, because he has all of the ability, all of the measurables to do it, but then hasn't been able to put in any of those like huge performances that you would expect from a wide receiver in the Kansas City Chiefs offense as well. So I think the problems for them have been there, but also the defensive side of the ball as well. They need to go and draft some defensive ends. They need to get some pass rush. That's the other part of it. It's like if you can't control the run and you can't control the game running the ball, and you can't control the game with defensive pass rush as well. So like you're giving people time in the pocket to throw. That's going to be a problem. George Karlaftis didn't make the step up that I thought he might do this season as well. So yeah, I think there's problems on lots of sides of the ball, but I don't think it's systemic. I think it's just they need a good draft. One good draft this year will have them back on to those positions that they're missing. Maybe a couple of good drafts, but this will be the year to do it, because this is the year where they're going to be picking in like kind of the teens, not the late the mid 20s, the teens, not like at the end of the 20s like they normally are. So this would be the time for them to go get those blue chip players and really hit the draft hard.
I think you focus on 2027, and that way you don't have to rush Patrick back either.
Yeah, and with that injury, similar injury to the injuries we've already discussed. It's Patrick Mahomes is the Chiefs organization, so let's not see him till midway through next year. Either there's no need to rush him back. Go. Who's the guy who was in the running for the Heisman? Everybody was saying that they were robbed. How high is he going to go in the draft? What was his name?
Oh, the kid from Vanderbilt?
Vanderbilt.
Yeah, the kid from Vanderbilt. I forget his name. A lot of people don't like his attitude, so we'll see how that hurts him going into the draft. And I will say I watched him on Bussing with the Boys, and he rubbed me the wrong way too.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Chiefs, like you can take a flyer on a guy like that while Patrick Mahomes is recovering and just see. I
think if you're the Chiefs, just go get a really steady hand like Mac Jones or somebody and let Andy Reid do his magic.
Yeah, that also works, right? Like go get Mac Jones. That would be a really great move for Mac Jones as well. You know, 1 year under Kyle Shanahan, 1 year under Andy Reid. Like go get those.
Go play good for 10, 12 games till Patrick comes back, and then go get your contract after.
Go get your huge contract who would X team that, like, you know, the Falcons when Michael Penix like continues to not play well, and you know, like
Maddie has predicted the crash and burn of Michael Penix. So
you just have to watch.
I don't think you're wrong. I just know that this is something you've stood on.
Yeah, you just have to watch him play. It's not, or you know what's going to be the best job for any of those kind of quarterbacks.
I thought you really had a soft spot for like broken quarterbacks, the way you told for some of these guys. But
yeah, fair enough. You know what's going to be the best spot for any quarterback is going to be when Matthew Stafford steps down. When Matthew Stafford steps out of the Rams, that's the job that you want to position yourself for. So Mac Jones
comes rumors that Sean McVay steps away with him, though.
Yeah, well, that would be shit. But currently, we'll see.
Yeah.
Currently, we'll see. Jay, final game that we will react to, the New England Patriots went up against the Buffalo Bills. And Jay, the Buffalo Bills came out on top. But did this game really matter? Because it doesn't have a huge effect on the playoff picture.
Well, it mattered because the fucking Patriots could have done with home field advantage. That would have helped. That matters, right?
Yeah, right.
You fall a game back in the race for that. Not for the, and it matters because you can still end up losing the division if you shit the bed here. You're only a game up on the Bills, so it mattered. But they're both making it the playoffs. So where do you land in the playoff? But you want that home game. So I think it mattered more than a lot of people think. But in the grand scheme of things, I think the Patriots are a really good team. And so in that thing, I think you just lose sometimes to good divisional opponents. So then that way, no, it didn't matter.
Yeah, and I think it's the Patriots, they have the tiebreakers, I think, to have it over the Bills. So they only need to win 2 of the next 3 games, and they've got the Ravens, the Jets, and the Dolphins is their next 3 games. So they just need to win 2 of those next 3 games and they clinch the division. But where I think it is a big deal is where it is a big deal, it's again on kind of optics and messaging going into the playoffs. We beat the Buffalo, we swept the Buffalo Bills again. We swept them. And that's we swept who everybody thought was going to win the division. We might come up against the Bills again, and we've got the wood over them. But now Josh Allen's playing this superhero ball, and actually it's coming off pretty well for the last few seasons. So I think it's a lot of optics and stuff like that. And those things do matter going into the playoffs, like a lot of the messaging and a lot of the optics. So I think it does matter in that sense, but in the terms of the playoffs, just because of the schedule that they've got. But Jay, what it did lead me to the question too of, and when we were talking about the AFC Championship game, it's, do you trust any AFC playoff team more than the Buffalo Bills to go out and win playoff games? Do you trust any of them more? Because it's the Broncos. Well, the Broncos haven't been in the playoffs for a while. Second round QB. It's Drake May in his first playoffs, and the Patriots haven't been to the playoffs in a while. It's the Jags with Trevor Lawrence in the playoffs, who has only won 1 playoff game. It's the Chargers who I don't think Justin Herbert's won a playoff game either. And then it's the Texans, who, CJ Stroud has only won 1 playoff game. They're the players in the AFC Championship. So who do you trust more than the Buffalo Bills to actually go out and get into the playoffs here?
So it's Josh Allen has all the experience, which means if they don't do it, it makes the fall even farther, like the crash even harder.
Yeah, and I think it makes the crash much harder. But this could be our first year where we see that 6 or 7 seed make the Super Bowl. This could be the year that we see it happen, just because of where the Bills are coming from. I think the Broncos are a better team. I think the Patriots are a better team. The Jags close. I think the Texans are maybe a bit of a better team as well. But Josh Allen is easily the best quarterback coming out in the AFC.
It'll be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out, and if that actually puts more pressure on Josh Allen and the Bills.
Yeah, maybe Josh Allen is the guy in MVP conversation with Matthew Stafford if the Bills manage to get into the playoffs. But where I don't trust them is they still have 0 run defense. Like the Patriots were able to run all over them all game, and that is gonna hurt you eventually in the playoffs. So we'll see if we trust them. Guys, you've been trusting us by watching us for like 3, 4, 5 years now. We've been doing this, and we've been building up your trust, and you've been coming back watching again and again and again. But we do love a bit of support, especially when we're doing these late night shows, especially for me. And the best way to support us is through buying us a cup of coffee.
Me and Jay set up the Yankee and the Brit nearly 5 years ago, and in that time we've gone up to about 7 shows a week. And with the help of our loyal community, we've been able to keep growing. But we want to grow even more, and that's why just giving $5 or £5 could really help us out in our Buy Me a Coffee fund. And all you have to do is hit the Buy Me a Coffee link in our YouTube descriptions. That'll be on every single video. You can give £5, $5, you can give it once, you can give it every month. And what that does is it allows us to grow and even buy ourselves a coffee every once in a while.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys. Your support is always appreciated. Feel free to hit the QR code that's at the top over there, or the link in the description below. And also, guys, if you don't want to give us any like financial support, that's totally fine. Another great way to support us is hitting the subscribe button underneath, or liking and commenting and all of that kind of stuff. It actually does us a massive, massive favor every time you do that. So thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it. Jay, let's move on to giving some awards for week 15. Let's start with our week 15 rookie MVPs. Jay, I'm going to start off, and I'm going to give my rookie MVP to Trayvon Henderson of the New England Patriots. 14 carries, 148 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He is clearly one of the top running backs in the NFL in his rookie year.
I like it. Good pick. A lot of good rookie running backs this year, too, we're seeing. So that's good for the running back class in the NFL, because just a year or two ago, we were starting to question the running back class.
Yeah, exactly, and they're starting to get picked like higher and higher again, and they're moving up and down where they come from. But guys like Keyshawn Judkins have played really well this year for the Browns. Amarian Hampton's come out and played really good football as well. Ashton Jeanty is an excellent running back. He's in the worst position for any running back could be possibly in. Ashton Jeanty is great. It's just he's currently a bust because the Raiders should never have picked him and done that to him. But yeah, great running back class. And Trayvon Henderson is the guy in New England and will be their guy for a while. So my pick, my rookie MVP of this week.
All right. So my rookie MVP, I bent the rules because it's our show and I can do that. And you can say I broke the rules, but I'm going with J.J. McCarthy because it's his first year starting. And I gave you his stats over the last 2 games, 31 and 47, 66%, 431, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception over the last 2 games. Go get you some J.J. McCarthy. And like I said, the great thing about it being our show is I can bend the rules.
And it wasn't. I picked him in week 1 after that comeback win against the Patriots as well with JJ McCarthy because he redshirted. He redshirted that first year. The thing is with JJ McCarthy as well, it's not even necessarily the stat line that makes him the rookie of the year. It was where those points came. It was in big moments, big plays throughout the game, and we spoke about him at the start of the show. He was great. Jay, what about your full MVP for week 15?
All right, so could have went with Kirk O'Chains, could have went with fucking Kyle Pitts, but I decided Trevor Lawrence, 20 for 32, 330, 5 touchdowns in the air, 51 yards rushing with a touchdown with his legs, 6 touchdowns in that game. Trevor Lawrence, my MVP.
Yeah, 44.5 fantasy points as well for those guys in who is, won in round 1 of their playoffs this week. But the Trevor Lawrence, he was great. And that was the Trevor Lawrence that we expected. And this is his first year with a decent offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Liam Cohen, has he unlocked?
Yeah, we thought fucking Doug Peterson would be good, but he just wasn't. It didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work. And, now that Jacoby Myers is there and he has a reliable wide receiver who's actually catching the fucking football, then he can actually throw the ball, it turns out, as well. Jay, you've already mentioned my MVP. I went for Kyle Pitts of the Atlanta Falcons. Kyle Pitts in that game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are a good defense, came out and he played a great game playing as a tight end. He was basically playing at wide receiver while Drake London was out. 11 receptions, 166 yards, 3 touchdowns, and Jay got 45.6 fantasy points, which is the 5th most fantasy points since 1960. If you go back and you check, like obviously they weren't doing fantasy in 1960, but people have gone back and done the stats on what fantasy numbers would have been like in 1960. So that is the 5th most points scored by it's a tight end. Yeah, a 5th most points scored by a tight end since 1960 in fantasy points. And Jay was unbelievable playing a wide receiver. And those touchdowns were great plays as well. And Kirk Cousins and him have a rapport. The Falcons should look at that.
If I'm Kirk Cousins, I'm telling you to go fuck yourself after the way you did me, but
yeah, definitely. I'm saying, okay, it's not 10 million anymore that you owe me, it's 25.
I'm gonna be like, I want 50 or get me the fuck out of here. Like, you pay me like Jordan Love. Fuck that.
And then there's some stuff about his like wife being from Georgia or something. I can't remember.
She is right outside Atlanta.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like that's maybe part of it. Jay, let's move on to GMJ, where I get to ask Jay a question that I would ask any NFL GM. Jay, the question this week is after a terrible performance against the Baltimore Ravens, putting up a donut against one of the worst defenses in the NFL when you have a great offense. How do you keep Joe Burrow happy in Cincinnati?
I don't know. After his comments this week again, too, I'm like, whoa, what's going on with Joe? Okay, I think they missed the window. Like, you were supposed to be making Joe happy the whole time. Maybe give him an offensive line. Maybe do these things. I think the only thing you can do now is sit down with him and say, what do you need us to do? But how do you trust one of the worst owners in the NFL to do the right thing? I don't know. I think this is Joe. This is just my opinion. I think this is Joe making it so they want to break up with him and get rid of him so he doesn't have to ask for a trade. But I think he wants out of there.
Yeah, and I think it's also because, he signed that big contract. He's a Bengal until 2029 unless they want to get rid of him. So they need an out. He needs to get an out from the Cincinnati Bengals. They've shown with Carson Palmer that they'll hold on for quarterbacks and all of that kind of stuff. I think what you've got to do is I agree with you. You've got to sit him down, ask him what he wants. The issue I have is they've been trying to fix the offensive line since they got here. It's not like they haven't tried to fix the offensive line. It's just they're not very good at it. So they need to ask Joe Burrow, like, what do you need us to do in terms of fixing this offensive line? And I think also sacking Zach Taylor would put a big step towards it, surely.
Burrow should be like, I want to make the draft picks.
Yeah, let me do all the scouting work, and it's just interior O lineman. He just picks guards and centers at every single draft. Every single position, or like tackle, guard. like that's their entire draft board. Yeah, because their defense, their defense is a problem, but their biggest problem is the fact that their best player is clearly wants out, and they didn't have a great game either in that. Jay, for our final reactions to NFL Week 15, we have our overreactions because we like to finish strong and overreacting. Jay, what have you got for your Week 15 overreaction?
The Jaguars are a contender for the AFC Championship.
I'm a big fan of that one, Jay. I'm in the same realm. Jay, my overreaction is Trevor Lawrence is the prince that was promised. He is that guy. This is just the first time he's been able to show he is that guy, right? So I agree with you. I think the Jags, I didn't really like them at the start of the season because of how they were actually playing football was wrong. They were only winning those games because they were getting 3 interceptions a game, which is not what you're going to average throughout the season. But now the offense is really taking shape and it's really moving on. And Trevor Lawrence is a key part of that.
I like it.
The big thing that I think Trevor Lawrence has unlocked is with his legs as well. Like, we didn't see Trevor Lawrence making huge play with his legs until like Liam Cohen's come in and he's making those plays.
Yeah, and we've seen it a couple times, but this is the most consistent we've seen him do it over his career in a season.
Yeah, and these are the plays that get you over the line. Like those quarterback run plays where it's 3rd and 8 and you need to make it, or it's in the red zone and the play's broken. How do you get into the end zone like he made against did that against the Chiefs, right? Where the play was just completely broken and he managed to break the edge and get into the end zone as well. So it's plays that takes Patrick Mahomes over the line. It's the plays that take Josh Allen over the line as well. And Trevor Lawrence has those abilities as well. And the Jags have it too. All right, that is Week 15 in the books. We have moved on to the NFL Week 16. And Jay, it is Thursday night football. It is a battle of the 11 and 3s, the 11 and 2s. The Seattle Seahawks are going up against the Los Angeles Rams. Jay, what is the key to the Rams' stellar offense going up against the Seahawks defense?
That's the thing, too. The Seahawks are kind of a team that they don't do a lot of exotic shit. They kind of just line up and go, you're not good enough to beat us at what we do. And with Adams being hurt, how much does Puka pick up the slack? Can they get their running game going? Because we know that Seattle is pretty good against the run. I think this could be a really good game. I do think it's the veteran nature of the quarterback position that will help in this game, and I think Matthew Stafford has seen everything, so he'll figure out how to get the ball out and quick and who to get it to. But he does like to hold on to the ball a little bit sometimes, so we might see, a handful of sacks in this game.
Yeah, I think the Omamwari, the cornerback that I think Omamwari, the rookie quarterback that the Seahawks have, will be a big player in this game. Like, he's the key because his body type up against Puka Nacua is huge. Like, Omamwari is massive. And that's how Puka Nacua plays. He tries to box you out. Like, he's that possession wide receiver that boxes you out. And also, Puka has, like, all sorts of fucking crazy hands, and he has some of the madder catches that you've ever seen. And that's something that, as a cornerback, you can't do anything about. But on those possession plays where he's boxing you out, Omamwari can play that. Omamwari has shown that he can play that throughout this season. So that's the key matchup to me. And then the Rams O-line, sometimes it looks really good. Sometimes it's kind of in the shit. And the Seahawks get pressure. They're not as like jump off the screen good as the Texans, the Broncos, and the Browns. They're not as jump off the screen good, but on the stat sheet, on the play, on the actual play sheet and player for player, they are just as good as those defenses. So we'll see what this Rams offense can do against that. And with things like, the Rams can put them in a bit of a bind with their 13 personnel packages with the 3 tight ends that come out there. I think that will put this Seahawks team in a bind. However, the Seahawks can play big. The reason that the Seahawks were able to go against that in the reverse game is because the Seahawks don't get tricked into coming out with linebackers. They can play big at cornerback. They've got like Tyreek Woolen, Nick Omamwari. They're a bad matchup for this Rams team. The Seahawks are actually favored in this game, which I was kind of surprised by because the Rams just came off a stellar win. But with Devontae Adams out as well, the reverse fixture, the fact that the Seahawks can match up, this is a hard pick for me. I actually haven't put it in the spreadsheet yet. Jay, on the other side of the ball, can Sam Darnold keep playing clean football against this Rams defense? Because this Rams defense, although not as good as the Seahawks defense, has huge big playability.
I think both teams have big playability, and it's going to stress the defenses, right? Like, that's the thing with this game. There's going to be a lot of stress putting on the defense, but what defense can hold up against, the big play attack from both teams? I think the key is that the Seahawks got to keep Sam Darnold clean, got to give him time to throw in the pocket, and Sam Darnold has to be able to be willing to use his athleticism to get out and take off if he needs to at times. I think that this is going to be a really good game. And what's the spread on this game again? I just lost my thing.
1.5 Seahawks.
Yeah, that's what I knew it was close and the Seahawks were favored. I think the Seahawks are going to win, though, so I'm going to take the Seahawks and the 1.5, and we'll see if I'm right.
Yeah, short week, drama in the wide receiver room, wide receivers injured as well. Give me the Seahawks as the home team. I think that does give them the slight edge.
I do just want to point out, though, that once the Seahawks win this game, 49ers win this division.
Right, go on. Go off on that.
So Seahawks win this game and the 49ers win out. They win the division because they played the Seahawks twice, I believe, and they win the division.
Okay. Well, I mean, that would be insane for the 49ers to come out with the season that they've had, with all the injuries that they've had, for the 49ers to come out and win their division. That would be insane. And again, Christian McCaffrey and the 49ers, not someone you want to play in the playoffs.
Oh, no, they play him the last game, but that would give them the tiebreaker, and that's how they win. And let me break this down for you. 49ers have Colts, Bears, Seahawks. They win out, and the Seahawks win this game. 49ers win the division.
Yeah, and the issue is you can really, 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 really see that happening. Like that's something that you can definitely see happening. for these teams. And Jay, that's going to make like the reason I say it's an issue is that's really going to make me look like a fool because I said they were only going to get 4 or 5 wins this season. But also,
I actually chose not to mention that, so you did it yourself.
I'm an honest guy. But Kyle Shanahan has done wonders with that team, and with all the injuries that they faced.
Rob Saleh.
Bringing in Rob Saleh, Jets defense hasn't looked the same without him. Like, it wasn't Rob Saleh that was the problem with the Jets, and we said that at the time. But yeah, so with this game, we're both going for the Seahawks in this one. It's gonna be a great game, a must watch. Unfortunately, I am absolutely knackered, so I'm gonna have to watch it tomorrow morning on the 40-minute plays. But I'm that Sunderland Newcastle took it out of me. I've been done since then. Been finished since Sunday.
You're in your 20s. I ain't trying to hear that shit.
Yeah, okay, I'm staying up, whatever.
No,
we also have Saturday football. So we've got the Washington Commanders going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles are 7-point favorites in this game. Jay, the Washington Commanders with Marcus Mariota back there, I think are slightly dangerous. Like, I don't think they're maybe dangerous enough to win the game, but they're dangerous enough to keep it close. They beat the Broncos. They were only 1 point off for the Broncos with Mariota in there. They've just beat the Giants as well, which I'm not saying that the Giants are a great football team, but they have ability to play football. How dangerous do you think they are in this game?
I think the problem comes down to is that their defense is awful. And if the Eagles are ever going to try to get on track before the playoffs, this is the game. This is the game to get your offense clicking, keep what the little momentum you've been building up with A.J. Brown, keep that going. Maybe we can get a Saquon Barkley sighting in this game and get it moving. I think Mariota has played great at filling in for Jaden Daniels. I think they'll be able to put up some points, not a ton, but I think they'll put up some points on the Eagles. But that's a good Eagles defense, and that's a really terrible Washington Commanders defense. So I'm going to take the Eagles minus the 7.
Yeah, I think for this game, right? I think with this game, I think it's a big game for the Eagles to get right. I think they got right against the Ravens. I think that was a perfect matchup for them, coming at a perfect time. They were on a bit of a slide, and they came up against the team that is just they just matched up with perfectly because their defense was just too much for the Ravens all day. And once the Raiders defense was on the field for too long a period of time, Jalen Hurts started to pick people off, and they got some good offense going as well, which I know Hitman was excited about because it meant his fantasy team put up enough points to get through because obviously he's picked all Eagles, so he was pretty happy with that one. But they've hit that perfect game, and I do think that kind of builds confidence. It stops the slide, and if they swap those games around, the Commanders game was last week. Maybe I would be saying +7 to the Commanders, but give me the Eagles at -7 in this one as well. Did you take the Eagles in that one as well, Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah, Eagles. Right. And the final game of our show is the oldest rivalry in the NFL. It is the Packers and the Bears. The Packers are 1.5-point favorites on the road to Chicago. Jay, do you trust the Chicago Bears to be able to clinch this division from here?
Trust. I don't know about the word trust, but I'm banking on they go in and slap the Packers in the fucking head on Saturday. That's what I'm banking on because I need some more joy in my life, and my playoff life is dead. So I just need to have my joy in Packer misery.
Yeah, I think the Bears are playing some really great football, some really solid winning football. And for me, Jay, that shows that really the NFL might be the sport that the coach matters the most. I can't think of another sport that is so affected from coach to coach. Ben Johnson coming in has completely changed the Chicago Bears. Jay, is the Chicago Bears season this season conclusive evidence that hiring an offensive coach, a great offensive coach, is the biggest key to a great football team?
Yeah, you want an offensive coach who understands the quarterback, right? Like you want a guy that you can marry with that quarterback for however long they're going to be together, and they see the game the same, and they learn how, to feel each other out. But yeah, Ben Johnson, those guys, like you got Ben Johnson, Kevin O'Connell, McVay, Shanahan, like Andy Reid. These are all the best coaches in the NFL that people talk about, and they're all offensive geniuses.
Yeah, and I think with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, a bit worried about the marriage at the start of the season, but I think they've both started to work out each other, right? I think that's the most important part. And Caleb Williams' escapability is really playing into. He's really cutting down on those plays where he just looks to escape no matter what happens. He's happy to just take the first read that Ben Johnson schemes open for him. But when it's not there and he needs to escape, that's really taking this offense that Ben Johnson built from one point to another, because you have the escapability of Caleb Williams. Look, Caleb Williams needs to be more accurate, more consistently, and I'm sure that will come, and that will come with understanding of this offense as well. Jay, Micah Parsons is obviously missing for the Green Bay Packers, but will the Packers be able to pick themselves up after last week's loss and the Micah Parsons injury? Will they be able to pick themselves up for this game?
I don't think it changes, like I said, a ton for the Packers in this game. I don't think it changes a ton. Yeah, a couple sacks for the season. I think it's time for Gary to stand up. I think their defense was good, not great. I think their offense is really good at times and below average but it all depends at times. What depends on Jordan Love. I think the Bears are a better team. And so, what was the spread again that you had? Because sometimes ours differ.
Packers are 1.5 point favorites.
Yeah, give me the Bears plus 1.5, definitely.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bears at 1.5 as well. All right, some exciting football coming up for you guys in Week 16 and this evening, and we're going to leave you all with our Week 16 best bets of the week. Jay, not a great week for us last week on the best bets. We went 1 and 2. We're still both at winning records for the season, so no problems. The AI went 3-0. So the AI had an 0-3, and then it had a 3-0, like back to back. So they're 3-3 for the season for the 6 games that we have had it. So Jay, let's have a look at our Week 16 best bets. Jay, who have you got this week?
All right. 1 second. I lost these, so I wanted to get these pulled up quick. All right. I'm getting everything pulled up. Here we go. All right. So my first one is Detroit -7 over the Steelers.
All right.
Then I got New England +3 at the Ravens.
Yeah, I was surprised by that one.
And I don't know what happened. And tell me, I had to check with you. Do you have your DraftKings up?
Yeah, I do.
Mine has this, and if this is right, I'm definitely going with it. San Francisco +6 at the Colts.
-5.5.
Okay, mine gave me +6 last night. I'm still taking your -5.5, but I definitely put check with Maddie in my notes because that was wild to me. So anybody who was on DraftKings last night when it was at +6 and you didn't take this, you're crazy.
Yeah, if you managed to get your picks in before it switched over. So are you taking them at -5.5 as well?
Yeah. I would have took them at -6. I thought maybe my thing just screwed up somehow. They typed it, they set it up wrong, and I forgot to look, but I did say check with Maddie in my notes.
Yeah.
You want so do you want chat GPTs now?
Oh, we'll take ChatGPTs, yeah.
All right, so that's the Los Angeles Rams +1.5 tonight at the Seahawks.
Okay, so already disagreeing with us from the jump. Got you.
Okay, so they have different spreads than us, but just go with it because I want to see what they do on their spreads.
Yeah.
Eagles -6.5 versus the Commanders.
Okay.
Bears +1.5 versus the Packers.
Okay. Do you know what? I kind of like that. Apart from the Rams pick,
I'm not been shocked if the Rams win. Are you? Like, I'm not shocked. I didn't know who I thought was going to win. So I picked the Seahawks because I want it to happen, because I want the 49ers to win that division.
Yeah, that's I mean, we basically laughed at ChatGPT last week and it went 3-0. So maybe us feeling good for it maybe isn't a good thing for ChatGPT's chances here. But Jay, my best picks of the week, I'm actually taking one of Saturday's games. I'm taking the Bears at +1.5. I think the Bears are going to win that game. I think they'll come out and they'll win that football game. And if you're giving me them as underdogs to win the game in their own stadium, then yes, give me the Bears in that one. I'm also taking the Patriots at +3, just like you. I was surprised by that. I've had to go double check from the spreadsheet to DraftKings, which is why I had DraftKings up. I thought I'd got that wrong. I thought it was meant to be +3 I thought it was meant to be -3 to the Ravens. So Patriots at +3, give me that. And Jay, I'm actually going to take the Chiefs over the Titans at -3 as well. I think that's maybe come a bit too far down. Gardner Minshew is a decent backup quarterback in the NFL, and the Titans should really be trying to lose every single game that they can lose from this point on.
All right, well, there you have it. ChatGPT's running at 50% already for us this year.
Yeah, and we're just over. We're just better than AI.
They've only been doing it for 2 weeks. I'd like to see what ChatGPT does over a season. We might have to figure that out next year.
Yeah, next year we'll have them over the season. Okay, everybody, thank you very much for tuning in to the show. Jay, send us off like you always do.
All right, hit that like and subscribe. Hit the notification button. There's a bunch of shows on the channel so you don't miss anything. We really appreciate all of your support. The best thing you could do for us is hit that subscribe and share the content. And we'll see you on Sunday. One world, one love. Deuces.
Cheerio.